What is up, my Pika crew? This is the ThePikaWu, and welcome to a 5th generation RU tier match. This one is against Aeon Blitz. Definitely check him out after the match. The quality of his videos is absolutely amazing. So for those who didn't check the SOS from a while back, or those who are newcomers, definitely check him out. He has amazing content. So today, the structure of my team is pretty balanced, although I do see my team having trouble taking ground hits, as Lilligant is the only Pokemon with a ground resistance. This team's playing style is pretty offensive, as even the more defensive Pokemon on my team are pretty much all-out attackers, such as Slowking, Nidoqueen, and Drapion. Whoa, tongue twister. So yeah, on my opponent's side, I see a huge weakness against fighting. So my plan here is to try to take down Tangrowth as soon as possible, because that guy is extremely bulky and the only physical wall on his team that is kind of threatening. And then I will try to go from there and maybe potentially sweep with one of my physical attackers like Zangoose or Primeape. He does have an Ambipomp, which is pretty scary. It's actually in UU, but it didn't really affect the match at all. As you'll see, I was pretty scared because Ambipomp is just an absolute beast. And with the fake out and double hit combo, it just kills the majority of my team in, 2 hits. But you guys will see what will happen in the match, and I hope you guys enjoy. So I'm going to lead off with a Slowking, while my opponent's going to lead off with a Crustle. And I actually thought, in total honesty, that he was going to lead off with a Ambipom because of its great speed and scouting capabilities. So that's why I chose a Slowking, because it can take a Fake Out and a U-turn, and I can recover that off with the Regenerator ability. But he leads off with the Crustle. Shouldn't be too hard to deal with as long as he doesn't go for X-Scissor first turn. As he just goes for the spikes and outspeeds me, which means he can potentially set up 2 or more entry hazards, which isn't good, but luckily for me, he does carry the red card, and that actually helps me out in this scenario because it brings in a Lilligant and I can outspeed, take him out after the Choice Spec Surf that brought him down to sturdy. I can just go for the Giga Drain and prevent him from setting up future entry hazards. But I knew he did have the Bouffalon and he can potentially bring it in and get the Sap Sipper boost, but doing the Giga Drain as opposed to Hidden Power was actually a conscious decision, and the reason why I did that was because I didn't want to reveal to him that I have the Hidden Power Rock as opposed to the Hidden Power Fire, because that would be nice to keep secret, especially against his Tangrowth later on in the future. Doesn't really work out in this scenario because he gets the +1 attack boost. He can pretty much take out anything, and I do decide to fodder out Lilligant because it's the most useless Pokemon I have on my team, especially because the Bouffalon and Tangrowth wall that set pretty well. But now I can bring in Zangoose to counter the Bouffalon and go for the close combat, even if he brings in the Tangrowth to absorb the hit, which it does very, very nicely. This was a necessary move because I needed to activate my Toxic Orb to activate my Toxic Boost ability, which would power my attack. And getting that attack boost as soon as possible is optimal, but I know I cannot take this Tangrowth in one hit with a Facade, so I'm going to switch because I don't want to take a Giga Drain. I do decide to bring in Drapion to resist the hit, and if he decides to predict my switch and goes for the Sleep Powder, Drapion would be a nice Pokemon to have as Sleep Fodder because it's useless since Tangrowth does wall this set. But I know I can scare him out because most Drapions do carry the Taunt or the Toxic Spikes, so he doesn't want me setting up, so he's just going to bring in Bouffalon as just an offensive Pokemon that can, try to deal with my Drapion. Maybe he thinks I'm defensive, but I'm not. I'm actually a Swords Dancing set. So as you can see, I went for the Swords Dance there. Looked kind of dumb, but the main reason why I did that was in case he found out that he realized that I was an offensive set and he wanted to bring in the Tangrowth again. But either way, Drapion is pretty much useless on my team, so I can play relatively risky with it and relatively stupid with it because it's pretty much useless. But because he's locked into Outrage, I can outspeed with Nidoqueen and take him out with the Earth Power. He does bring in the Cryogonal here. I know he's not going to go for the Ice Beam because the Slowking switch in is way too obvious, so I'm thinking he's going to go for the Toxic. That's why it's a good opportunity to bring in my Stealth Rocks, and now I'm thinking he's going to go for the Rabbit Spin here. So that's why I'm going to bring in my Primeape. And he does go for the Ice Beam. It's going to do a lot of damage against this Primeape, but I know it won't kill me because I know he's a defensive set, not an offensive set, because my Nidoqueen outsped the Cryogonal, and most offensive sets carry max speed. So here, I'm just going to go ahead and go for the U-turn, predicting the Tangrowth switch in and getting switch initiative. But that was a good play on his part, leaving Crustle there to die so I don't get the switch advantage. I'm going to go ahead and go for the U-turn here, and I'm going to bring in Zangoose to predict the Sleep Powder to nullify the status move. It's a very, very risky play because he can easily predict that and go for the Giga Drain and deal a ton of damage against my Zangoose, which would be quite bad because Zangoose is probably one of my only hard hitters that can deal a ton of damage against this Tangrowth. I do have the Nidoqueen, but that Cryogonal actually walls the Nidoqueen because I don't carry Fire Blast, unfortunately. I carry Stealth Rocks as opposed to Fire Blast. So, yeah, so that would be a very bad situation if he went for the Giga Drain as I brought in Zangoose. But because he didn't, I can 2-hit KO him with a Facade, and he actually does end up staying in the next turn to take the Facade, and that is absolutely amazing. Having Tangrowth alive is the main key for my opponent to win, so that was definitely a mistake on my opponent's part, because now with the Tangrowth down, he's pretty much open to fighting moves from my Primeape. He does have a Drapion though, so I want to bring in my Slowking just to deal some damage against his Drapion if he does decide to bring it in. So I can get at least some damage on Drapion, so then I can take everything out with the Primeape. So that's what I do. Slowking is a good counter against his Drapion as well as his Ambipom if he decides to bring that down during the double down. But yeah, so he actually goes ahead and goes for the Crunch. I know I can live it because I'm max HP. End up living it, goes for the Choice Spec Surf, and I take him out in one hit. So now that his Drapion is down, everything that's left on his team is weak to fighting. So that's it. I can pretty much bring in my Primeape and clean up, and Primeape is just going to go absolutely bananas. But as you can see, the main reason why he didn't exploit Ambipom's priority fake out was because he's actually a special set, which is kind of unconventional, doesn't really work out for him in this specific battle, because if he had the standard fake out, double hit, or return set, he probably might have had a better advantage. But like I said, Ambipom is UU, so I'm actually very lucky and very grateful that he carried the special set and the unconventional set, because it doesn't work out for him. I can take him out, and then I can take down his last Pokemon, which is the Cryogonal. So that will be the match. I hope you guys enjoyed this battle. If you guys did, feel free to leave a like, and if you really enjoyed this battle, feel free to leave a favorite, and if you haven't done so already, please be sure to join the Pika crew by subscribing. So this is the ThePikaWu. Thank you for watching my video, and peace out, guys.